I know.
5, 4.
I look. Wait a second. I look okay though. Nothing on my chin. My chin feels funny. Feel okay? Nothing's in there though, right? Like that? So much drama. Jesus. Okay, are you ready?
5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey everybody, welcome. This is Dr. Levi with the Dr. Levi Show, your show. Today is March 2nd, 2016. Beautiful day here in Los Angeles, so I hope and believe that wherever you are right here today, you make it a great day. Remember, the goal of life is really to maximize your potential by living in a state of gratitude and service. I really believe that service is the highest order of humanity. With respect to being away from the fragility of consumerism, it's really about what you can give back to your community, what you can give back to your family, and living in that place of knowing that every day is a gift. Every day really is. If you wake up, you have your ability to breathe, to talk, to know your family, to live where you live. Every day is a good day. So I want you to recognize that and feel good about you and know that who you are and exactly what you are, you're perfect the way you are. There are no mistakes in the universe. There really aren't. So I appreciate your uniqueness. I'm grateful that you're here today to be a part of the show. We have a great show for you today. We have what I call a dad and daughter tag team today, so I'll tell you about them shortly. They have a lot to say, really wonderful individuals who give a lot to their community, but more importantly, they live in that state what I call true joy, true bliss, and with that understanding that giving is the way to feel good about not only yourself, but about giving back to your community. So I want to introduce our guest. He's a gentleman who last year he won the Distinguished Humanitarian Award in Chino, 2015, Distinguished Service Award, an incredible honor. He's also had over 20 other honors that he's garnered over many, many years. But more importantly, he's someone that I had the great honor and opportunity of working with during the International Special Olympics last year, which was just fantastic. And I'll tell you about one story with him that really resonated high with me, and I thought about it this past week, and I can't wait to share that with you. So I want to introduce our guest who's the word for him would really be just ineffable. There's really no description. He's a man that gives a lot to his community. He's a family man. He's someone who really embodies the essence of what it is to be a great physician, what it is to be a great man of spirit who gives and gives without any limit. So I want to introduce our guest, Dr. James Lally, who's the president and the chief medical officer at Chino Valley Medical Center. Dr. Lally, good morning, sir.
Dr. Levi, thank you so much
absolutely.
for the honor and privilege of getting to be on your show. I was tickled to death when I got the invitation.
Well, fantastic. I told Janet many, many months ago, I said, when we start, I said, within the first 3 months, I want to have on Dr. Lally. And she said, that's going to be perfect. I'll ask him. But he's very busy. I said, we have to at least ask. So thanks for being here.
Never busy for a good person. I mean, you were flattering me when you started. You're the one that should be collecting the kudos.
No, I'm grateful for you, Dr. Lally.
And as we talk about stories, I think the most fascinating story for me is that each day I do wake up, and I'm very happy that I've woken up and that I still know where I'm at, and I'm able to get to where I work. Because work is what it's all about, giving back to people. Something that started maybe at a young age, but there's true satisfaction in helping those that need help.
Absolutely.
So maybe I was suited to be a doctor way before I knew I was supposed to be a doctor.
Well, I tell you this, I'm glad that you're a part of the medical community because it makes me want to be a better physician, a better man. I want to talk about your early life. I know you were born in Sanjay, Japan. So I want to know, how did you get from Japan back here to the U.S.? How did that happen?
You know, my father was in the military. He was a 32-year veteran, had been in the Bataan Death March in World War II. And then for part of his punishment, he went back and married a Japanese woman. And he used to tell everyone he was a prisoner for 48 months and a prisoner of love for 42 years.
Right.
He did pass a few years ago, but he was a great man.
Yes.
He truly raised us with humility and a concept that still I embrace, and that is plenty of other people will be smarter than you. They'll be richer than you, but no one should ever outwork you.
Yes.
And that's something that I've held very close because I will outwork anyone.
I believe that.
So we were military brats. So I grew up, I moved 13, 14 times to get out of high school.
Quite a bit.
Each endeavor was the best places where you just left, the worst places where you were going.
Yes,
and you never had any friends, although you end up having a lot of friends.
Right.
So
did you have brothers and sisters?
I had an older brother and a younger brother. We all ended up in the military for whatever our different reasons were. But
all in the Army?
Did. No, older brother went into the Air Force. I went into the Army. The younger brother went into the Navy. We all served full careers.
Yes.
Mine was cut a little bit short by some circumstances, but I ended up making the best of it.
Yes.
I had a good time.
Yes. Now, what about education-wise? How did the track come up to get to medicine? I want to hear about that.
It was long. It took me 15, 16 years to get my 4-year degree because I was going a class at a time.
Yes.
So I was in the military. They had trained me to be a special forces medic, and then I became a physician's assistant.
Yes.
And then during the course of that time, I accumulated enough credits that a University of New York at the time was able to grant us some credits for an ongoing issue of education.
Yes.
So I kept enrolling in a course here and a course there, and in 1985, 86, I ran into a person that would later become very important to me because he thought I should go to medical school.
Yes.
In spite of the fact that I didn't really think I should go anymore. I felt like I was too old.
Yes, yes.
He did help me. I went to the College of Osteopathic Medicine in the Pacific in Pomona.
Yes. Now, what about this, Dr. Lally?
Okay.
How did you change? How did you get the thought of doing osteopathy versus Western type medicine? Because I've always thought that osteopaths are really the true embodiment of the perfect physician because you really have this balance and this beautiful marriage of Eastern and Western medicine. I've always thought it's something that myself as a Western trained physician that I felt I've missed not being an osteopath.
Well, you may have missed out, but the reality of it is that osteopathic medicine and allopathic medicine are a nice blend together of the issues. It may be the approach that's a little different. Clinically, allopathic focus more on science and disease processes. We focus on the person as a whole unit, and then we apply the other aspects to it. So in the end, I feel that I'm a pretty well-rounded physician. I certainly am a good physician. Right. I don't know if I would go back and change if I had the chance to be allopathically trained or remain osteopathically trained. But you ask why I favored that. A predominant number of general medical officers in the Army were DOs.
Right.
And my interaction was with them, and it was daily. And they were all phenomenal physicians. So when it came time to look for a school, I did have one of them mentor me, and he felt that he had gone to comp that's in Pomona.
Yes, I know it.
So he made some introductions for me. I was able to apply, and by the good graces of low MCAT scores that year, they let me in, and the rest was history.
Right.
It's been no stop since then.
Right. Now you went from there. I want to know about the transition to Carnegie Mellon, to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, thank you. There's a American College of Physician Executives. During my medical school years, I felt that I was lacking in some areas that I thought would be important in the future.
Yes.
One was education background, so I ended up getting a master's in health education. Right. And then I went back and got a master's in medical management from Carnegie Mellon, which is a very prestigious school. I was able to go there. I learned the fundamentals of administration and management from a healthcare perspective, and I've been very fortunate that the position I have with my current employer, Dr. Reddy, has allowed me to use those skills because I'm killing it.
Yes.
Let me tell you, we are just having a good time, and I'm making ends meet.
Yes.
And my hospital just won the Truven Top 100 for the 5th time in a row.
Which is pretty fantastic.
It's huge.
Yes.
Yeah, we're very happy, and I got the best employees in town.
This is fantastic. And also, you got that award, but you're in the top 15 for healthcare systems.
We are. And Dr. Reddy's just acquired 4 more. So I think we're at 42 or 44, so it's privately owned. But, he's a genius. I can't say enough nice about him. Of course, there's always chances to throw stones at anybody, but he's leading the country in change.
Which is great.
All of his hospitals may have struggled. I know the particular hospital that I added to the collection was in bankruptcy.
Yes.
But he's able to turn them all around. I mean, we turned around from $22 million in debt to very successful out of a Chapter 11 in 15 months. It's just
phenomenal.
Been straight up since then.
Right.
And he does that with all his hospitals. And it's not because of the perception that he does things wrong. What he does is he uses the physicians and the patients and the system to the benefit of the patient.
Which is the way it should be.
It is. You focus on the quality, the money comes.
Right. Yeah, I love that statement because I've always thought in medicine, I have a lot of my friends who are constantly telling me, well, Levi, you're a surgeon, but even though I'm a surgeon, surgery is always the last possible thing I do. I try everything from physical therapy to acupuncture to rest to bracing, everything to avoid surgery, because I always thought that surgery, like medication, can only do one of three things: make you better, make you worse, or no change. So why take that chance, 33.33 of surgery, when other things may not do as well? So I think it's important that we do look at the fact that all money's not good money. It has to be about the patient, about their care, and about doing things as non-invasively as possible.
Oh, I would agree. I mean, to hear that from a surgeon is music to my ears, because, you know, the perception, of course, is a surgeon's job is to separate the disease from the patient.
Exactly.
But that's not necessarily always the best outcome.
Exactly.
So, again, it's a compliment to your ability to adapt, and probably why you're doing so well yourself.
Well, I'm really, really grateful. I want to know your thoughts about acupuncture. What do you feel about that modality? Because I love it. I want to hear your thoughts about
It's been around for 10,000 years.
Exactly.
I mean, 5.8 million Chinese can't be wrong about anything.
Right.
And certainly that's a modality that's gaining great interest here,
Yes.
because you know what? It works. The
Yes.
body is a unit.
Yes,
no
it is.
matter how we want to step back and look at it.
Yes.
And people that are able to possess that skill, but it's also the skill of touch.
True.
You know, the needles are placed, but there's a lot of touching. And touching in itself, as we know from being babies.
Yes.
Mama
yes.
touches you, it always feels better when you're hurting.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So clearly it is a godsend. And I think that Western medicine, since we do delineate it that way, has wisened up.
Right.
Just like we're realizing that, you know, medication isn't the cure for everything.
No, not at all.
You know, and
Right, I agree.
our poor mental hygiene system in the United States is so upside down, because we think that plying someone with pills is going to take care of all their issues, when they really need someone to listen to them and show that they're interested.
Exactly.
So our healthcare dollars need to shift a little bit, but those are decisions made by people much higher than you or I.
Yeah, but I think in time, I think we lend our voices to be advocates for those who have no voice, and to be advocates for those who are looked upon as just a number, or if you don't have an address, then you're considered to be less than human. If you're homeless, if you're, as one physician recently told me, I was talking to him and he said, "Oh well, Levi, I don't work with people who are domiciliary challenged." And I said, "Well, why not?" I said, "They're human beings too.
Sure.
When you see someone, that's someone's son, that's someone's daughter. They need help like we do. No one's better than no one else." As a physician, I'm so highly aware of the fact that our jobs, I believe, is really to be of service and to recognize and to respect the humanity in everybody that we see. No one's better than nobody else. It's just not difficult to me.
I absolutely applaud that. The only thing that I may see as a little bit of a shortcoming is that we've shifted in such a direction of being caretakers and care providers that some of our patients have forgotten that they need to be participants.
They got to step up, yes.
Yeah, and, you know, because of that, we see a lot of the non-compliance issues and stuff that end up not hurting us as the physicians, other than our feelings or our inner spirit for trying to help someone.
Yes.
But, you know, a diabetic person that won't take his diabetic medicine, or a hypertensive person that won't, that's just so challenging to have the patience to deal with that.
Absolutely.
And there are underlying reasons.
Absolutely.
I mean, you write someone for a medication that costs $800 a month, and he's only making $900. He's not going to take that medicine.
No,
he's going to worry about his family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because everybody has that. So somewhere in there, I don't know if we have a perfect system.
Right.
I do know that we're more aware than ever that we have these shortcomings. I work at the Chino Unified School District, and it's one of the top 50 in the country for places to live and go. And we have 1,575 non-addressee children.
Yes.
So that means they're homeless by anyone's definition.
Exactly.
But these kids are some of the highest achievers because they get it.
Yes.
They understand that they have to get something changed.
Right.
So the school district's taken some great steps. Superintendent Wayne Joseph has done a tremendous job in assembling a group of people that were going back and identifying that. And there's a new term I heard, couch jumpers.
Oh, yes.
These are minor kids
Yes.
that have nobody. And they go and stay at your house for a few days, stay at my house, but they shower at the school.
Absolutely.
Because they want to go to school.
Absolutely.
Then we have gifted children, and the parents take care of everything, and the kid spends most of his time cutting.
Absolutely.
So, but it's just sad that in our beautiful country, I mean, we still really are a great country.
Absolutely.
That we can't really take care of our future.
Right.
So,
the kids are our future. They really are.
You hear it from me. I mean, one of my strongest reasons for doing the things I do is because I got to take care of the future, because one day I'm going to be in an emergency room, and I'm hoping the face I look at is someone I trained.
Absolutely.
That's not mad at me.
Right, exactly. Hopefully not. Exactly.
It doesn't remember everything.
Right.
No, but
now, I want to say this, Dr. Lally. You've done a lot for the Chaffee School District. I mean, a lot of humanitarian work, a lot of philanthropic work. What would you say is the biggest gift that you've brought forth to help bring about a paradigmatic change, and with the understanding that education is so vitally important? Now we have to capture all the children we can.
Sure. Chaffee Unified, I had the privilege of sitting on a measure board for them, a bond measure that garnered them $880 million.
Yes.
And we've now seen the new stadiums, the new buildings, everything going up. But the tears in the eyes of the graduates who went to a school 50 years and never had a football field to graduate on, now their kids get to do it, or their grandkids.
Right, get to
That's
do it.
very, very fulfilling.
Absolutely.
For the Chino Valley, we do all their high school physicals for them. I used to do them free, but it was treated as free.
Yes.
So now we have a charge, and then we give the money back to the trainers. So over the years, it's been about $600,000 back to their system.
Which is fantastic.
And the kids, the trainers, certified trainers, do truly appreciate that they have money to work with, because everybody's on a budget.
Of course.
But you can't take a young athlete who's developing, put him in a helmet that doesn't fit,
you can't.
run him
You can't
out
do
there, and then expect something not to happen.
Right,
So we got to
exactly.
protect our youth.
Right.
So I think the single thing is I'm an active participant in the kids that don't have resources.
Yes.
And pretty much all the schools and the nurses know if they call me at the hospital, we will get that child seen or taken care of, including me asking favors of orthopedic surgeons sometimes.
Of course. Oh, I'm here.
I know,
here.
but
Absolutely.
they will come and take care of the issue.
Of course.
Which is all that really matters. And some of the kids really, really do need some acute care and then some chronic follow-up. But it's a very, very nice community we're in.
Absolutely.
It's sometimes looked down on because it's the Inland Empire, but it's still.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I've heard people say really unflattering things about it, and I've never understood that, because I've been to the Inland many times. I have friends who live there, and it's a great area. It's a great community. It's a very family-oriented community. So I don't understand why there's that dichotomy of what people say versus what the reality of the beauty of that community. It's very bizarre to me.
I think it's a natural pride in being like a 714 guy. And then you move out to the 909.
Oh, I get
it. But I agree with you. It's clearly a misconception, a misnomer.
It really is.
I mean, I certainly have my opinion of West Hollywood. And,
of course, West Hollywood, Burbank, Studio City.
But there's great people everywhere.
Everywhere.
And I would agree with you. It's the community that makes the difference, not the location or the title.
Right, it's the people.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Now, what's coming up on the horizon for you? What events are you involved with now?
I'm really excited. I brought you a pin, but we're going to Rio.
Fantastic.
And
great.
I'm the physician for international shooting sports, so I take claim over the entire shooting venue while we're there. But the U.S. team is looking strong, stronger than it's ever been. I mean, we expect medal production from Vinny Hancock, who'll be going for his third gold medal in skeet, never been done. Matt Emmons, a multi-Olympian with multi-medals, who's come back, whose wife is also a gold medalist from another country.
Yes.
And we expect him to do well. But probably our queen is Kim Rohde. She shot her first Olympics at age 16 in Atlanta and won a gold.
Wow.
She's now going to her 6th Olympics, having won a medal in every Olympic since then.
That's phenomenal.
She'll be the most decorated athlete ever.
Really?
Single sport. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And she is gunning for bear. She is ready to go. I am going to ask her to come and see you.
Well, tell her to come and see me,
She
definitely.
should see a very good orthopedic surgeon to
well,
prepare
thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, a great gal, and training out by us in Big Bear.
It's fantastic.
But she makes it happen.
Now, what about your interest? Because I know you received an award when you were in the service for marksmanship. What was your interest in getting to be in the shooting arena?
We all get training. We all have things we like. I was raised by a hunter, so I had availability or access to guns at a young age, and we learned to respect them.
Yes.
And we were taught proper discipline and such about it. So in the military, I had a little bit of success. And as I transitioned out, though, it was odd. In 1992 summer, there was an ad in our local paper saying they're going to shoot down at the Prado shooting range, which was the 84 Games location.
Yes.
And they needed volunteers. So I
signed up.
I closed my office. I went down there. I met some nice people. I hung around passing out T-shirts and taking name cards.
Right.
And on a Friday evening, some older gentleman came in complaining about his foot. And I said, sounds like gout. He said, well, what are you, a doctor? And I said, I am. He goes, well, we need a doctor. And that person was Lonis Wigger.
Yes.
Turned out to be one of our greatest shooters ever. and he hired me on the spot to be the team physician. It's been love ever since.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so it's just been timing is everything.
It is. It is.
And I think a sense of humor goes a long way.
Absolutely.
So I still know him. He's a great guy. I've been very fortunate and privileged to be the president of the organization twice.
Yes.
But I'm hoping to be my last game. 16 seems like a good time to move it on to a newer, younger person.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Okay. And you know what? I'm going to make some phone calls to make
Absolutely.
that happen.
I'm ready to go.
I will make that happen.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, I want to hear your thoughts about, the virus. Everybody's talking about Zika virus. I want to hear about that. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think it's just sensationalism? Because I think it's just over sensationalized. The press can do that with anything.
If you go back to almost any Olympics, there's always an underlying theme that heightens the drama of the games.
Yes.
In China, we had the smog.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, it was going to be so bad.
Right.
In Greece, they had their financial infrastructure.
Absolutely collapsing. Yes.
London, it was going to be too crowded and too congested. But here's what I do know. First medal of every games is the 10-meter air rifle women's medal. And when that medal is given, it's the greatest games ever going for everyone else that's there.
Period.
So it doesn't matter where all the hardships were.
Right.
I don't matter if they were still putting paint on the floor when you went in to take your first shot. That sets the tone. Zika, it's been around since 2008, probably even sooner than that. But it's gained some momentum because of our media.
Exactly.
It may have viraled a little bit in the wrong direction.
Right.
I mean, it's a mosquito. It's the same mosquito that's given us all other kind of diseases over the years.
Absolutely.
So you go down and you protect yourself against mosquitoes. Light clothes.
Yep.
You can try some mama's remedies
of
dill pickle juice or garlic. I'm not sure about those.
Right.
But DEET products work.
Of course.
Avon has a non-DEET product. Not that I'm plugging for anybody, but
of course.
I just think common sense.
Yes.
I'd be more worried about the water.
Absolutely.
Versus the bite of a mosquito.
I agree with you.
So we have determined, and we are, I believe her name's Hope Solo, went on, and I think she prematurely made some predictions and comments that she's so prestigious and powerful, she doesn't understand the effect of her words, but because she chooses maybe not to go, shouldn't deprive any other athlete who's worked hard to go.
For many,
and all they need
years.
to do is to protect themselves.
Of course.
And you know what? You can't have unprotected sex.
Same with that. Exactly.
And that doesn't matter which disease you want to come home with, right?
Exactly.
So you should show a little bit of restraint.
I agree with you.
I do think precautions are warranted. If you are a young woman, you shouldn't get pregnant at the games. I don't know how busy you can be for that, or if your ovulation coincides with your events.
Dr. Lally, don't start.
Sorry.
Dr. Lally, don't start, young man.
Sorry.
Right.
But and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but there is a little bit of restraint that's involved in this. And then it's the same thing about if you come home and your wife wants to get pregnant, why don't you take a week off?
Just wait.
Just wait 10 days. She's going to ovulate again in another 28 days.
Exactly.
So I do know on support of Brazil, which is always mañana.
Yep, and I support them.
I do, and they've been out there at 220,000 strong, trying to take care of this thing. And I got doggone mosquitoes in Chino that give us West Nile virus.
Exactly.
So I don't really understand. I just think it's the hype. I think you have to have something to talk about, and they talked about the soccer in the building when it was going on, but everything went well, and they had a great cup.
Exactly.
And we're going to have a great games.
I believe that.
We are going to have a great game.
I want to know, what was your favorite game that you went to? Of all the games, you've gone to many. What was the favorite country, I should say?
I got to tell you, Australia was very nice. Reminded me of the U.S. back in the 50s and 60s.
Really?
China was the most organized.
Really?
Everything was perfect. Timing, and everyone was perfect that was there.
Wow.
The air was perfect quality. I mean, they really, really put a country behind it. U.S. for sentimental reasons in '96.
Of course.
Greece was just nice because it was Greece.
Right.
Because, hey, everybody should get to go to Greece.
Absolutely.
England was very well done. I think my favorite game, I think for sure was, I really enjoyed Kim.
Really?
Winning her first medal at age 16 in double trap.
Yeah.
That's an experience, but her maturity and her steadfastness and her commitment, she's changed. You wouldn't know this. I apologize. Her event got eliminated, women's double trap.
Really?
So she moved to skeet and won a silver medal and a gold.
Wow.
So she's
tough.
an athlete.
Yes, she is.
And
yes,
people think that shooting's not athleticism, but it's good hand-eye coordination.
Oh,
extremely
it's
good reflexes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then the next one is Matt Emmons.
Yes.
Matt Emmons had it doesn't happen. Well, it happens to everybody. In 2004, he was going to win his second gold medal, and he shanked a shot, which is a term meaning he missed the target on his last round.
Right.
This is a guy that
Never
shoots
misses,
repeatedly 10, 20,000 times a year, and he missed. So instead of hanging his head, he came back and won a medal the next game.
That's what you do.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
So I think those two within the shooting arena have always been a little bit of a favorite. Of course, all the other athletes do well, and
of course,
and we hear their stories all the time.
Right.
Shooting doesn't really get the press it should get in the United States just because of sentiment and misunderstandings about the perception of guns. And that's a whole separate,
of course, it is
whole separate radio.
Yes,
hour.
it is, but it's an hour we'll have eventually too.
Yeah, it is very heavy.
Yeah.
Being so near to home in San Bernardino with the tragedy that happened,
yes.
it just makes you aware that anything can happen anywhere.
Anything.
And I think that you should live each day with that expectation that as long as you get up and you're doing the right thing, should your life come to a premature. Well, maybe it wasn't premature. Maybe that's when it was supposed
to.
So your family should be able to stand up and recognize that what you did was good.
Exactly.
And I think that's a settling thought.
It really is. I really appreciate the fact you said, and I totally agree with you, that shooters, people who learn to shoot and who are involved in that sports, they are athletes. I take care of a lot of e-gamers, sportsmen who do League of Legends, different types of electronic gaming. But often, other doctors I speak to always say, well, Levi, why do you take care of them? They're not athletes. But they are athletes.
They are.
The hand-to-eye coordination, the cerebral focus that you have to have, they are athletes. Same with the shooters. They're athletes also.
Well, it's funny. I took a nephew that's just turned 12 who's never, ever fired a handgun before. And we took him out to the range, safety, did a little class with him.
Yes.
And he was nailing it. And I was like, how are you doing this? He goes, I play Call of Duty.
There you go.
I know. It's a interesting phenomenon that I wonder if the military could conceptualize that maybe training them would get the hand-eye coordination they need. And maybe they do that and we're not aware of it.
Right.
But certainly it
makes sense.
It's a process.
Yes, it is.
And it is something that can be learned no matter what the arena is.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, he was
nailing
it.
Unbelievable. I think it's going to be great, going to the games. I'm sure Rio is going to be phenomenal.
We need to start a campaign to get Dr. Levi to the games.
I say yes to that.
and I believe we can make some of those calls.
I say yes to that, Dr. Lally. I say yes. Now, I want to also add, we're really fortunate today to have your extremely intelligent and beautiful daughter with us. And I want to introduce her shortly. Kaitlyn's her name, and Kaitlyn's the daughter of Dr. Lally. And I want to thank you, Kaitlyn, for being with us today. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It was such a pleasure to be here. I'm actually really shocked that I even got on the show.
Oh, absolutely. This show is always about being very organic, and I always think in my mind about this show, I always want the show to bring about some type of healing or some type of paradigmatic shift for people to feel better about their lives and to know that life and the universe is for you, that everything is really conspiring for our greater good. So you being here with your dad, how could I not have you as a part of the show? It's easy. So thank you.
Well,
Tell us about your life. What is it like having such a well-renowned, loved father?
Whoa, time out.
Oh, yes.
Let me introduce just a little something here.
Okay, yes, sir.
I was so hard driving that I wasn't even sure that her mother was pregnant. and when I was surprised with the fact that when she was pregnant, I was very, very tearful in my happiness because I'd never in my mind thought that this would happen with me.
Yes.
But can I just tell you that having a baby girl changes your whole life?
I believe that.
Because I am so much nicer now than I was before. So before you get onto her too much about anything, I can just tell you she's my heart and soul.
I believe that.
And she changed my life, and it started with the fact that I used to growl on the phone, and if she was laying next to me, she'd push up against me at like under a year. And it made me realize that, okay, someone's picking up on a vibe that I don't need.
Yes.
And then the other thing that was so cute is one time when she was about 2, we were asking her to do imitations of family members.
Right.
And she picked up this phone and she opened it up like it was a cell phone and she started griping into it really hard. And then she slammed it shut. And she said, "That's Daddy." So in her youth, And
Daddy.
And out of the mouth of babes comes wisdom, but she's changed my life. And she's probably the single most important, even over my work, any accomplishments I could have, the success and livelihood of my daughter is the most important thing.
That's
so
fantastic.
With that, I'll be quiet and not be the dad.
Oh, fantastic. Well, as you can see, Kaitlyn, your dad really loves you. Wow.
Yes.
Well, what is it like having a dad who's so loved in the community, who's such an advocate, who's such a humanitarian, who's such a philanthropist? What is it like living with someone with such high aspirations? What is that like?
He's actually a little more normal and more down to earth than we think.
Yes.
He's actually super normal. I see him around the house. He's like, hi, doing paperwork.
Right.
In the kitchen is just like, whatever, hi, bye, But I love actually having a father like this because it makes me feel that I need to keep my one foot forward, and I have such enormous shoes to fill.
Very much so.
That I have to always keep that in the back of my mind when I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Yes.
But if Dad finds out you don't do this,
Exactly. Exactly.
So I always have him in the back of my mind, and that's just, I want to say recently, even more so, I've had him in the back of my mind. And
so he's really sort of a ethical, moral compass and gauge of, are you giving to the community? Are you giving more? Are you being the good, wonderful woman that he's raised you to be?
Yes, that, like you said, I get reminded. See, I'm only 19, so
Yes.
cut me a little.
We're about the same age. No, we're about the same age.
I know we don't
Yeah.
look too far apart in
Not
age.
at
What are
all.
you, 21?
23.
23. Okay,
Close.
sorry.
Close. So,
But yeah, so even coming, I don't want to say I've matured so much in these last months, but
Yes.
I feel like I have, and because of him.
because of your father. What do you feel will be your father's legacy?
He's a walking legacy.
He is that.
Yeah.
He really is that. And he's that, because of what you would say. Because of his big heart, because of how much he gives, and because what we know is that he gives so unconditionally. That's clear.
Right. Yes. All of the above, what you just said, what I love so much about him is he does give back. He gives back to all the schools he went to, schools I went to, the schools my brother went to.
Yes.
Everything. He gives back to everyone. When I have my career set in stone and I want to say following in his footsteps,
Yes.
I would love to give back just as much as he did.
Right. Because one thing is interesting too is his giving is not stop and go. It's consistent.
Yes.
That's pretty phenomenal.
It is phenomenal because most people, when they forget about the little things, they forget about the little people.
Right.
But he's
Your
not one of
dad
those
does
people.
not.
No.
What was it like last year when he received the Distinguished Service Award?
I mean, he received so many awards.
Of course.
I really don't know when that was.
Right. It was so many. I love that, Kaitlyn.
It's just like a
blur.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
Another thing on the wall.
Another little trophy on the wall.
Absolutely. Well, what are you going to do now educationally? What's on the horizon for yourself as you expand your career and your life in education?
So I'm finishing up at the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising down in downtown LA.
I know exactly where it is, yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm finishing up there, and I'd like to be a buyer for either Barney's or Nordstrom.
Yes.
I love to dream big.
You have to. That's correct.
And I'd love to eventually, wind up in New York and live the dream and travel.
Right.
My dad's shaking his head because he doesn't want me to go to New York.
New York is a very interesting, wonderful place. But I'm sure as your dad would say, it's a place where you have to really be focused. Here LA is wonderful. You have a wonderful, phenomenal support system. But in New York, you're alone. You have to be focused like a laser. If not, there are a lot of things that can come out of the shadows that can take you off your plan of attack.
Yeah, I would get eaten alive.
I don't think so. I think because you have such a wonderful family and such an extraordinary strategic foundation that you're ready for anything. The goal, of course, is to always be fearless and to always do your best and to really live in a place of excellence. I think once we give our best, we can do no more. That's all we can give. So I think you're on the right path.
Well,
I think it's just wonderful.
Thank you.
One thing you said, too, about working for Barney's or Nordstrom's, I think you said, it's also good to think about having your own clothing line, do it yourself, where you're signing the checks versus having the checks signed to you,
See, I'm more of I'm getting my degree in merchandise marketing,
Yes.
not so much the fashion design
Yes.
aspect. So I'm more on like the business side of fashion. I'm trying to be a little more practical.
Yes.
That I know that not everyone who is a fashion design major is going to make it big.
Right, that's true. Now, what do you love about fashion so much versus medicine? I mean, your dad's this phenomenally well-lauded physician, and you thought, I want to do fashion. I want to know, what was your thinking to do that? Because it's a very big shift.
First off, way too much school for me.
Okay.
Way too much school for me.
Yes.
And my mom, my dad's always like given her very nice things, so I've always like drooled over those things.
Yes.
And I need those things.
Yes.
And I
need those things.
Am I right? I love those things.
And I love
I'm
those
going to
things.
get these
I'm going
things.
to get those things, yes. You're going to do it for yourself.
Yes.
That's really fantastic. Now, what about school for you? Do you find yourself thinking about going on to do higher education, or you feel like once this is done, you're done?
Once this is done, I'm done.
Okay.
I mean, we've gone back and forth about it. But I've been straight up with him, and I've been straight up with my father about the whole thing, and he's accepted it. I mean, it took him,
He accepts
18
you. He
years
loves
to
you.
finish school, so it's
Right.
no push for
Right.
me.
Exactly. What are your thoughts, Dr. Lally, when you hear your wonderful, creative, intelligent, beautiful daughter speaking like that? What resonates with you? Besides being proud, of course.
Well, no, and certainly that's always underlying as you worry about her being in New York, and
Yes.
but she's really done well in the last year.
Right.
I would tell you there was a certain level of immaturity, which I contributed significantly to by spoiling her, as daddies do.
Yes.
And this last year, we've kind of made some adjustments and changes. She has a job at Nordstrom's, then she
Perfect.
works at Fleming's.
Perfect.
So she understands now.
Yeah, work.
You know, Daddy, give me
It's
is a
work,
little bit
though.
is a little bit different than having to go and work.
Absolutely.
So I think that's been a great step in the right direction. The other aspect is that I want her to dream. I want her to reach out and get the things that she can get.
Absolutely.
I didn't encourage her to do medicine because it just wasn't in her.
Right.
You know, medicine really is a service.
Oh, yes, it is.
My daughter likes being served.
That's a little different. That's the other part of the spectrum.
It's the other aspect.
Okay.
And while I feel that I can give Mother Teresa a run for her money, I guarantee you. And that's okay, right? Because the world's made up. The world's
Different
made up
people.
of everybody.
Absolutely. Unique individuals.
And I know that in the end, that she will end up making the legacy that I probably have hopefully set forward. She's going to end up completing it.
Absolutely.
She will. You know, she made a remark. I have tried to make it an issue that every school that's ever allowed me to have an opportunity to get educated, I continue to give back to.
Yes.
Because, you know, we can't do enough for our education. We can't do enough for our children.
Absolutely.
I think the only thing that dismays me a little bit is our society has shifted, and and a lot of teachers are being the parent, and they're having to do parental things for these children.
Yes.
Versus just getting to get in their minds and educate them.
Yes.
And I feel for that because I think there's no harder job than being a teacher.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, you're getting it from everybody.
Everybody.
You got the school board that tells you how to do it. You got the mother that didn't even go to college telling you how to do it. And you got the kid who looked on the internet saying how it should have been done.
Exactly.
So I don't really know that if I would have the patience to be a teacher.
Yes.
I mean, I do teach residents, and I found out with the millennium change here that it is a little bit different than it was 5-6 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, everything instantaneous for them now. It's
Like
on
that.
a phone.
On a phone.
No process, just on a phone.
Yes.
And so the thing that I'm having to adjust to is teaching them if I'm trying to get to the outcome I want. And what I want is a compassionate, empathetic person, because really I can look up anything on the internet, as our patients do.
Yes, they do.
But they need someone that can apply that.
Right.
So I think that's what we focus on a lot in our program. I have 27 residents. They all leave doing very well.
Yes.
They all know medicine. You've met.
I work with Dr.
You've met
Gonzalez,
them.
Dr. Perez, Dr. Crouch. Absolutely. Great guys.
Great guys.
Yes.
And they all get it. I force community service on them, their internship year.
It should be.
And by the time they're in their third or fourth year, most of them are pretty agreeable. And actually, when they leave me, I find out that they go to the next place and they do that.
That's
so
great.
I think that's
so,
a great
and that's
thing.
a continuance of your legacy of service too.
You know, you got to serve.
Yeah, you have to.
You
serve.
can't be great.
No.
You can't have anything until you serve.
Absolutely.
So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, you know, I always say, whenever I give a talk anywhere, I always make one specific statement. That is, you only get what you're willing to give away. So if you're willing to give away more, just trust me, the universe, God will bless you abundantly with more than you can even imagine. But you got to give it away.
You say all the right things.
Thanks, Dr. Lally.
Except for that one little part about my daughter going to New York. I've been fine with this whole show.
Yes.
Clearly that was off the table now. On the way home, she's going to say, you know, Daddy, you really like Dr. Levi. And Dr. Levi said that you raised me to be strong to go to New York.
Right.
He knows me way too well.
Way too well.
He knows me way too well.
So we're going to have that discussion.
Well, let me tell you, your dad made a great point, though, that my father used to always say was, if I would ask him for something, I say, well, Daddy, I want this, I want that. He would say, I'm not going to give you that, though, Levi. I say, I know, but I want it. He'd say, well, I'm not going to give it to you for one specific reason. Because if I give you everything, son, you'll appreciate nothing. So I totally get what you're saying, that, hey, she works at Fleming's now, and now she works at, no, she's building her life in a way that she feels that she is imparting something to the whole process. Correct. It's not just receiving, it's giving back. It's working and earning what you want. Not just, Daddy, I want, but Daddy, hey, I got this for myself and for you and for Mommy, you know.
And paying taxes.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You know, everybody should have to pay the damn tax.
Oh, yeah.
She needs to learn that dollar she's making, it's not all hers.
Oh, no, it's not. No, about 40% of that is going to go to other issues.
So it's been a good learning experience for all of us. And she does work at a wonderful Fleming's in Rancho, throwing out plugs. Her operating partner, Jill McCula, is one of the only female operating partners they have.
Really?
#1 store.
Really?
Out of 27 or 30. She
fantastic.
makes it happen.
Now, how do you say that? How do you think that happens? That's pretty amazing.
The way I know it happens actually at our store is we have a really well put together team.
Yes.
Like we all work very well together. I know all the servers. They want to be there. They want to be there.
So they're passionate about what they do.
They're passionate about what they do, and our boss is amazing. Like I said, Miss Jill, she's amazing, and our managers, they're all just very like. It's more of like a family there, and I think that's why it works so well there, and we get it done. You
take care of business.
Take care of business.
That's in the Inland Empire, by the way.
Oh, I love the
909.
Empire.
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Exactly.
So their most profitable store
is in the Inland Empire.
And #1 in sale is there. #1 in profit, #3 in sales.
That's fantastic.
Is in the Inland Empire.
That's
so it goes to show you.
Yes.
Hollywood ain't got everything over everybody.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But this is a great studio.
Right. Oh, great. Well, I want to say, I think it's so important that when you're at a place like that, one thing I find works really well, I think your father would agree with me, and being in practice, is that when the energy with the people that you work with, when that is very synergistic, and people work well together, and they can decompress their egos and actually know that everybody's important and no one's better than anyone else, now we're all working for the common good, bring great service to the people that come here. I think then everything flows unconditionally super well.
Right.
No, well put.
Yeah, and also I think the reason why we perform so well, like as a team, is we all love our boss.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we do.
And also, I'm sure when, then again, synergistic and symbiotic. When you love the boss, you already know that they also like you. But it's very different now when you may like the boss, and the boss may not like you. That's rough. We go through that in residency, for example. We work with people that are somewhat just beyond. That's all I can say. But we have to deal with them. It's a tough process sometimes. What was residency like for you, Dr. Lally?
I was old. I was in 37, 38 when I went, but I had been a PA for like 12, 14 years.
You had a lot of experience.
So I had a lot of experience. I do well with little sleep. Always have. I've been blessed with that.
Yes.
So residency was fun. I mean, I learned more after hours than I did during hours.
I agree with that.
And I would agree with you. The mentor that nobody else wanted to deal with was the guy I sought out because, hey, may have been a little gruff, but in the end of the day, I ended up learning something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And certainly that's what I impart, because I am really I have like 2 rules in my life, and that is be on time.
Yes.
Because that's just respectful.
Oh, absolutely, for everybody.
And do what you're supposed to do. I mean, that's not really hard conceptually.
Not at all.
But practicality is very challenging for some people.
It is.
Especially our younger, I would say, gifted that maybe never had a job before they get out of medical school and they're ready to go. I'm happy to say that no matter what the product is, though, that I start with, I get some diamonds out of it.
Right.
Little squeeze, little
that's
pressure.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah, but it's all done with a little bit of, well, I'm going to say a little bit of love.
Right.
But it is a fascinating concept because I love when I get emails or phone calls 3, 4, 5 years after residency, and there's a little, I really thought you were a horse's butt.
Right. Tough.
And I really thought you were unreasonable, but today it made me realize you were just looking out for me and I didn't know it.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you that makes it worthwhile to go back
and
deal with the current group.
It does.
Because they're
because your job, as an educator, I mean, you have to teach critical thinking, you have to teach leadership, community involvement, patient advocacy, as well as make sure that academically everything is on target. It's a big job, Dr. Lally. It's not a joke.
I would agree with you. And again, the millennium issue of immediate gratification and no delayed gratification is a little challenging.
Right.
And the other aspect is I tell them in joking when they first get there, put your mom on speed dial because you're going to probably need to call her a couple times to tell you how wonderful you are because you're going to find out that you may not be.
Right.
And for some of them, they get it, others don't. But I am overall happy. I've probably graduated close to 1,000 residents over the years.
Wow.
And I'm going to say 995 of them are super.
Right.
I got 5, but hey.
That's okay.
I'm playing the averages. I'm playing the averages.
Right.
It's
pretty amazing.
So,
well, as you can hear, Kaitlyn, your dad is really just a phenomenal human being who's really about giving. And that's why I think it's so important, one, that we have him on the show to highlight him and his life. I'm so grateful that you are with us today to talk about him and to talk about what it's like to have such a well-respected, a well-loved father who's really about education, who's about humanity, who's about philanthropy, who's about being involved in the community. So often people get complacent with getting so much, and then they just sit and consume versus give back. Your dad is number one about giving back. I respect him tremendously, and I respect his ability to talk about it in such a open forum without censoring himself. It's really wonderful, Dr.
Well,
Lally.
I've been censoring myself.
You?
Usually you have expletives. Hey,
okay.
But may I offer just 2 little things?
Yes, sir. Dr.
One,
Lally.
I already spoke very highly of my boss, Dr. Eddie, and
Yes.
that was genuine, and certainly I have the utmost respect for him because he's allowed me to do what I've always wanted to do, which is to operate a community hospital and take care of patients.
Yes.
The other person I would have to give a shout out to, as the term is my wife, Rebecca.
Absolutely.
Rebecca is a new wife.
Yes.
I think she's called the trophy wife when you marry the second time. I don't know how that's arbitrary or not.
Right.
But she's a great gal, and she gets me.
Yes.
So I've been very, very fortunate with that. Her and Kaitlyn get along.
About 2 years apart.
No, they're
Lucky Dr. Lally.
yeah. That's.
I'm kidding.
It's closer. Becca and Kaitlyn are
She
closer.
said it.
Yeah,
I didn't say
Becca and Kaitlyn are closer age than Becca and I are, but it works good as a unit. But
Right.
anyway, we'd want to say that, and then to my docs, Gonzalez and Torres and Crouch. I'm looking to get them on this show with you. I think you'll have a great time with them. But anything that I can ever do to help you, I just need you to pick up the phone or have Janet pick up the phone, and I'll get it done for you within that minute. But right now, we're on the Get Levi to Rio,
right.
and we will make that happen.
It'll be great. Well, I'd love to be of service.
If nothing
Dr.
else, I'll
Lally.
just bring you down on a ticket and hang around.
Thank you, Dr. Lally.
We'll get something done.
You're too much. Well, Kaitlyn, any closing thoughts you have about your wonderful dad, about your life, and about where you want to go?
No, I think I wrapped it up.
You
pretty
feel good about
nicely,
it?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
and thank you for having me on the show. This
Oh.
was so cool. My dad didn't even realize how cool it was to drive into these gates and
Yes.
stuff. I had to enlighten him a little bit, but It's okay. He knows now.
I think it's great having you here, and I feel so honored that your dad took time out of his extraordinarily busy schedule to drive from the Inland Empire here. I just feel very blessed and very, very grateful. So I want to, Dr. Lally, any closing remarks, sir?
Sir,
thank you.
What a privilege and honor for me. I cannot tell you. I speak highly of you, and certainly I have that from the heart for no other issues. But thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lally. And thank you, Kaitlyn.
Thank you.
Again, this is Dr. Levi. I want to remind you to join me on my website, if you like, is drleviharrison.com. Also, YouTube. Right now, we're at over 13,000 YouTube subscribers, which is wonderful. So I want to thank the gaming community. I'm glad to be of service to you. We're going to be shooting some new videos actually this week, fitness videos and gamers videos and hand exercise videos. So I want to thank you all for joining me. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I just want you to know that our show is about reminding you to maximize your life with strategic, focused choices. Remember, you have to make a choice, either good consequences or not so good. So be aware of what you choose. Be aware of the people you surround yourself with. Sometimes we have to love people from a distance. Sometimes we have to let family members and even friends be loved at a distance, and that's okay. It's so important that you know and understand that you validate yourself. We don't need anyone to validate us, no one. No woman needs a man to validate them. No man needs a woman to validate them. We need each other to work together synergistically, make the planet a better place, and know and understand that love, truth, honesty, and integrity are the ways of life. It really is. So, in closing, as I always say, be kind to the veterans. Those men and women are the true heroes of America. We have our freedoms because of them. So when you see them, don't just walk by them like they don't exist. Be kind. Give them a hug. Give them something, but be kind. Recognize their humanity. All right? This is Dr. Levi. I so appreciate you. Have a great, great week. And remember, create your life. Don't let it simply evolve. Create your life. This is Dr. Levi. Bye.